Now, students, we have already seen total 4 sentences and their figures of speech. But I think in the very first sentence, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. I forgot to, I think, explain first figure of speech, that is metaphor. Now, in this first line, metaphor figure of speech is also there because there is an implied comparison between a thing of beauty and joy. Because as long as thing of beauty is there in this world, man or person will feel joy forever. So, implied comparison between a thing of beauty as well as joy. In other words, I can say that here a thing of beauty and joy are not only compared, but they are taken to be one and the same. So, metaphor also you can take as one of the figure of speech. Now, fifth sentence. Spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth of noble nature of the gloomy days. In the above line, you can take figure of speech anaphora. Anaphora is a figure of speech in where same word is used in two consecutive lines. You can see here of preposition or the word of is repeated twice, 4 times. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Anaphora. And you can also take repetition. Sixth sentence of noble nature of the gloomy days. Here figure of speech is transferred epithet, personification and repetition. Now transferred epithet here is adjective gloomy is transferred from the people to days. Gloomy means sad. People can be sad, having sorrow. Days can't be. But here epithet or adjective gloomy is transferred from people to days, which with which it is closely connected. Then another figure of speech is personification, and nature is given human quality. You can see here noble nature. Noble. Nature is described here as being noble, and days are given the quality of being gloomy like human beings. That's why we can take personification. And another figure of speech is repetition. Of preposition of is repeated twice here for poetic effect. Of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways made for each for our searching. Figure of speech here is tautology. Unnecessary use of unhealthy and over darkened in the same sentence which suggest same meaning. Another figure of speech is transferred epithet. Here the adjective or epithet unhealthy is transferred. Epithet adjective unhealthy and over darkened are transferred from people's lives to the ways with which they are connected. That's why transferred epithet also you can take. Then next is yes, in spite of some shape, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirit. Figure of speech is personification because inanimate beauty is given human quality of removing pall means sorrow, dullness from our lives. Another figure of speech is antithesis. Here opposite words beauty and pall are used in the same sentence for poetic effect. Another figure of speech is metonymy. Here the word some shape of beauty represent beautiful things like the sun, the moon, river, trees, etc. Another figure of speech is internal rhyme. Here all and pal are rhyming. Next is transferred epithet. The adjective dark is transferred from our lives to our spirit, with which it is closely connected. Ninth one, such the sun, the moon, trees, old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep. Figure of speech is antithesis. Opposite words old and young are used in the same sentence for poetic effect. Metaphor, you can see that the sheep the sheep are compared with human beings. And another figure of speech is alliteration, that sound of consonant sh sh is repeated in the word shady and sheep. Next sentence, and such are daffodils with the green world they live in. Figure of speech is metonymy, because here the word green world represents nature. Next sentence, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make. Here you can take alliteration and anastrophe. Sound K, consonant sound K is repeated in the word clear and cooling and covert. Anastrophe. Here, anastrophe also you can take because there is an inversion in the construction of the sentence for poetic effect. Now, next few lines for figures of speech. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead. Figure of speech in this line, first is irony and another is paradox. Irony, the meaning is exactly the opposite for grandeur of the dooms. It suggests destruction. Another figure of speech is paradox, that an outwardly false statement which has hidden truth, that though the great people are dead, their glory lives on. Next sentence, all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink. Figure of speech here is antithesis. Unnecessary use of endless and immortal in the same sentence for poetic effect. My dear students, meaning of endless and immortal is same only. Another figure of speech, same only, and it is unnecessary use. Twice it is used, endless also and immortal also. Next is metaphor. Metaphor, there is an indirect comparison between lovely stories that we have heard or read and a fountain of immortal drink. The point of comparison is to give endless satisfaction and joy. And antithesis is also there, because here opposite words heard and read are used in the same sentence for poetic effect. And last sentence, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heaven's brink. Hyperbole, tautology, metonymy, and internal rhyme. Now, how hyperbole? There is an overstatement that there is an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from heaven's edge. Another figure of speech is tautology. Two words, endless and immortal, are used having the same meaning and are used in the same sentence. Metonymy, rhyming word, The word heaven's brink represents God's house or God's dwelling. So, metonymy, heaven's brink represents God's house or um, God's dwelling. Internal rhyme, here there is a rhyme between the word drink and bring. So we can also take internal rhyme. Now here you are given message of the poem. The message of the poem A Thing of Beauty is given by John Keats in the very first line when he says a thing of beauty is a joy forever. And it is that beautiful things of nature are a source of constant joy and inspiration. Various beautiful things like the sun, the moon, trees, rivers, etc. free us from boredom and despair and fill our hearts with everlasting joy. They give us eternal pleasure and leave an indelible image on our minds, and therefore, every beautiful thing and aspect is worth being treasured. This poem reminds us the Satchidanand concept of God. Nature embodying beauty and joy is a nourishing force in and in the absence of which, that is, in the absence of nature and its beautiful things, we will definitely die. So, this is the message of the poem. Now, here model answers have been provided for students' reference. It is strongly recommended that students prepare the answer on their own. Now, in your textbook, page number 99, under the heading Think It Out, total 7 questions have been given. Here you are given model answers. Go through, my dear students. This is first question and its model answer. This is second question and its model answer. This is third and fourth. You can see here the fifth one. This is sixth and this is seventh. Now in your notebook, my dear students, in your notebook, you will write down question number 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I repeat, in your notebook from your textbook, page number 99, total 7 questions are given. You will write down question number 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Another 2 question, that is first and 7 one, you will read only and learn. Now here extract based questions you are given. Lines of the poem you are given and down questions have been given. Go through. Here answer is also given of all 8 questions. So as far as extract comprehension is concerned, from this poem I have given you 3. This is second example. Lines of the poems given, down 8 questions are given and then answers are given here. You will go through, my dear students. And this is third example. Here extract is given and questions are given. Here 5 questions have been given and answers are given. You will write only the first example of this extract based questions. Only first one you will write, remaining you will read and learn. You can get an idea that how few lines, any line can be taken and you can be asked question. So my dear students, you will write from these extract based questions only first one. Now these are few additional questions with answers you are given. You can go through. If you will get this type of question, you will be able to write. No doubt answers are given briefly, but you can go through and elaborate if it is asked. learn and prepare. No need to write anything from here. So this additional question with answers you are given. Total I think 10 given. Here multiple choice you are given. So whatever additional questions I have given briefly with answers, you will only read and learn. No need to write in your notebook. Now MCQ based question, multiple choice question. Total 6 you are given. All 6 you will write in your notebook. And these are additional questions. You can prepare the answers on your own. So I hope, my dear students, as far as question answers to be written in your notebook concern, you will write, think it out. I repeat, think it out. Total 7 questions you are given. You will write down number 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 question. Remaining you will not write. And then you will write down this extract based questions. 3 samples you are given. You will write only this first one in your notebook and all multiple choice questions. You will not write additional questions with answers I have given. You will only go through and learn. Now, my dear students, I think you are given total 13 or 12 sentences for figures of speech. You will read and learn, and in your notebook, you will write down first 6 sentences in your notebook. Remaining 7 to 13 or 14, whatever I have given, you will only read and learn. You will write only first to 6 sentences. Remaining you will only read and learn. I hope, my dear students, you have understood this poem, A Thing of Beauty, written by John Keats, and its explanation, figures of speech, and question answer. Thank you, students.